Hi everyone, it's Sherry with Studio 28E Journal Creations, and I've been challenged to answer these 10 questions. I was not going to do them live or with showing my face. I was just going to answer the questions, but then I figured what the heck, right? So my name is Sherry Ann Schmier. I was born Sherry Ann Evans. My birth name is actually probably a little bit of French or whatever, but my married name is Ukrainian, and it's spelled Czmyr, and it's pronounced Schmear, Schmear, for those of you that have been wondering. And how did I come up with my YouTube name? Well, Studio 28E. I live on Route 28, and I just like the idea of saying Studio 28E. And then I added the journal creations later to distinguish it, even more so that people would know what it was about. My favorite craft, right now it's making journals, but I also like to make the ephemera and whatever that goes into them. Decorate envelopes, tags, and whatever. And my favorite place to shop, I like to go to antique malls and dig through some of the baskets that other people haven't looked into yet. Or, there's always that one little spot that nobody wants to bend down and look and dig. So I found that to be a lot of fun. At first it was a little intimidating because I'm like, well, really, should I be doing this? But then I said, yeah, I'll do it. So my husband's even started to look for things for me. My top 5 YouTube channels that I watch: Pam, VanEe, she's Pam's Paper Place. Now I did not write down the names of all the people, but a bit of birdsong, Shabbydabbydodah, Carie Chambless, and Not Too Shabby Chic, and that is Dale McBay. My favorite color is any shade of blue or teal, but I really, I like pastels. I don't really like dark colors unless they're fluorescent, and then it would be more for like a shirt or something to wear during the summer. My favorite craft tool, I like my paper cutter. I used to like my Cricut a lot, but I haven't used it a lot lately. And my scissors. I have several pair of scissors that I really like to use. They're Fiskars, and I've got some Cutter Bee. And let's see what else we got here. Where does my love of crafting come from? I really don't know. My biological dad, he was a mechanic, but he also did a lot of woodworking, and unfortunately he passed away at a young age of 29. So I didn't get to learn a whole lot more from him. I was 9 and he had been 6 since I was 3. So, but I do know that he liked to, make like Adirondack chairs and end stands and things. So I would guess it probably came from him. My great-grandmother on my mother's side and my grandmother crocheted, and I think my grandmother knitted one sweater, and that was for me. My great-grandmother, I believe, she also knitted. And my mom crochets and knits, and she got into the paper crafting a little bit with me when I first started, but she no longer does it. So I've been crafting since I was a child. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but they have these little tiny babies for cake decorations, and they're usually flesh colored. And I got some of those from a baby shower. It's probably my aunt's baby shower. And strawberries used to come in, and blueberries too, I believe, in little square green pint baskets, and they were plastic or quartz, whichever size basket you wanted. So I would cut those in half and slide them together and put yarn or ribbon around them and put a bow on it and use that for a baby's crib. So I would put those little dolls in there and use tissues and whatever and tape little diapers on them. I mean, no, they're only this big. They're probably not all in the same shape. Some of them might have been laying down or sitting up. So I use those little baskets for cribs, and the full-size basket I would decorate and use for a playpen. I'd have to say I was like 5 or 6 when I would do that, maybe even a little bit younger. And I've always liked to color, and I can remember doing a scrapbook when I was little. My grandmother would give me her McCall's magazines, and I did the Betsy McCall's paper dolls, and I would cut things out of the magazine and put them in the scrapbooks. And then 4th grade, I got a little bit into crafting a little bit more. We did aprons with burlap, and we hand stitched things on the aprons. And I probably would have done more in art had I had an art teacher that cared about it, you know, people that weren't super artsy. And I would have gotten into it a little bit more. But then I got into sewing and home ec, and from there it was just whatever. And most of everything, I mean, my mother taught me the basics, you know, stitches of crochet, and I can knit, but it's too slow, and I don't have patience for that. But basically everything else I've learned on my own. I made like 35 Cabbage Patch dolls, and back in the day when those were famous, and I sewed doll clothes for my kids, or clothes for my kids, you know, shorts and nightgowns for my girls. And I just kept going from there. You know, I've played with Fimo clay a little bit, you know, and baked things, made my own buttons and whatnot, and then it got on to paper crafting. So it just keeps going on and on and on. I do a little bit of towel painting and whatnot. So, and my stepdad, I call my dad, he was into drawing and woodworking and such too, and he encouraged me to go on with what I was doing. I know that he liked horses, and when he and my mom were dating, I think I was probably about 7 at that point, I started drawing horses, and I didn't do too badly. And he would tell me, you know, maybe you want to do this or maybe you want to do that, but you know, he never criticized. It was always, that's very good, you know, and they actually looked like horses, and unfortunately I don't have any of those left. And so between my dad, my biological dad, and my stepdad, I think that's probably where most of the, you know, painting or, you know, actually tearing things down to make something with came from. And my favorite craft so far, I'd have to say, is journal making. I thought that was one of the things that does say favorite crafts. Favorite crafts, you know, is and I like the fact that when I do the journals, I can crochet the lace or crochet, you know, little flowers or whatever to put in them. Or I can sew in, you know, the paper, sew paper to lace to the paper, or sew covers or whatnot, or make cloth covers. And so it all incorporates a little bit of paint, a little bit of fabric, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that seems to work well. And I'm going to tag Doe Bailey, and Melissa Barnes, Sheila, Sheila, I'm probably not going to say this right, Figuera, I'm sorry, and she's Sheila's Mini Creations. That's 3. I thought I had a 4th one. Well, D. Markham-Jones is another. But all these people are the ones I'm going to also list. They're being in my YouTube. That didn't make sense to me. But anyway, I have to tag some people and whatnot. So that'll be at the end of this video. So, well, here's my face. If you've not seen it before, here it is. And I will tag those people and then list the YouTube information below. And hopefully somebody else will do this. And let's see. I think that's about it. I'd show you the rest of my craft room, but I'm only showing you the good part behind me that's organized. You don't want to see what's in front of me or to my right or to my left. To my right doesn't look too bad. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.